راتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوی پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا
Good evening. Today is Sunday, January 12, 2025. I'm Suleiman Talash and you're watching RTA News. Let's dive into today's news updates. Maulavi Nur Jalal Jalali, the Minister of Public Health, met with Alexander Starvetov, the Deputy Minister of Food and Medicine at the Ministry of Public Health of Belarus. The Ministry of Public Health says that both sides talked about high-capacity medical personnel and bilateral cooperation during the meeting. Mr. Jalali has pointed out to the development of health relations between the two countries and said that based on good relations, both countries can access quality medicines and medical equipment. The Ministry of Industry and Commerce says that Kazintasov Andriy, the Deputy Minister of Industry of Belarus, and his meeting with Nuruddin Azizi, the Minister of Industry and Commerce, emphasized the development of economic relations between the two countries and requested the development of trade relations with Afghanistan. At the same time, Mr. Azizi emphasized the trade balance between the two countries and provided information about the level of trade. According to the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, during this visit, they agreed to organize joint exhibitions, business conferences, and meetings to develop trade and economic relations. The National Procurement Commission, headed by Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar Akhund, the economic deputy of the Prime Minister, has approved contracts for 17 projects worth 3 billion Afghanis in the construction of some roads, transport, railways, fiber optics, and electricity in Kabul city, with the entire cost of these projects being paid from the government's own budget. Economic analysts believe that implementing large projects domestically will create jobs for the people and reduce poverty. Yamarian has more details about it.
In its regular meeting, the National Procurement Commission approved contracts for 17 projects worth 3 billion Afghanis, amended the contracts of 9 projects, and suspended the contracts of 2 other projects due to the problems in the procurement process. The deputy spokesperson of the Islamic Emirates says that the entire cost of these projects will be paid from the Islamic Emirates budget.
The approved, slightly modified projects include the construction of the Arghandi transport terminal in Kabul province, the construction of a parking lot for freight vehicles in Kuzuri district of Herat province, the repair of Aqina and Khoy and Torgandi railway projects, the extension of fiber optic lines in Kandahar, Helmand and Farah provinces, the completion of the remaining works of existing electricity projects in various provinces, and a number of other projects that will be financed by the Islamic Emirate.
Furthermore, economic analysts consider the implementation of projects by the government as an important step for creating jobs for the people, reducing poverty, and the country's economic growth.
It can play a very important and fundamental role in creating job opportunities and improving the economic situation of country, especially projects in infrastructure sectors such as agriculture, industry and trade. Moving forward with development projects will create jobs for people, and when people have jobs, the problem of poverty and unemployment will undoubtedly decrease. On the other hand, projects implemented or funded by the Afghan government are mostly projects that have great economic importance.
This comes at a time when the Islamic Emirate has implemented dozens of other small and large projects in the past 4 years, in addition to the construction of Kushtipa Canal, the Salang Highway, the Kabul-Kandahar Highway, and the second line of the Kabul-Kandahar Road.
Maulavi Abdullah Mukhtar, the Deputy Minister of Security of the Ministry of Interior Affairs, met with Gennady Kazakevich, the Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Interior Affairs of Belarus. In this meeting, various security topics, the fight against drugs, and the good relations between the two countries were discussed. The Turkish embassy in Kabul said that the country's 21st humanitarian aid named Nikki arrived in Herat. According to the embassy, the aid includes 724 tons of humanitarian aid, including medicine, food, and necessary equipment. These donations were handed over to Afghan side in a meeting attended by Sheikh Shahabuddin Dilavar, head of the Afghan Red Crescent Society. Officials of the Commission for Prevention of Land Usurpation announced the restoration and recovery of hundreds of acres of usurped land in Ghor province. According to the head of the commission, these lands have been reassigned from land grabbers in the Dawlatiyar district of the province. Wahid Sultani has more about this.
Returning hundreds of acres of emirate land from usurpers by the Commission for the Prevention of Usurpation of Emirati Lands in Ghor province. The head of the Commission for the Prevention of Usurpation of Emirati Lands says that they have recovered 2,344 acres of emirate land from usurpers in the province.
بله تقریبا حدودی دو هفته پیش
Almost 2 weeks ago, the Commission for Prevention of Usurpation of Emirati Lands, we were able to reclaim 2,344 acres of land from the usurpers in the Latiyar district of the Samak village. Some of it has been declared public pastures and some of it has been consolidated as Emirati lands and registered in a land bank. Also, the Commission for the Prevention of Usurpation of Emirati Lands is not specific to one district, but of course the Commission for the whole Afghanistan. And our technical committee in Ghor province is active in all our districts. Most of the divisions are there. Currently, our activities are ongoing in these 3 districts for a month.
Residents of Ghor province praised this action by the officials of the Islamic Emirate and emphasized the return of more government lands from the usurpers.
We thank the Islamic Emirate for returning the usurped lands to the government. We are very grateful to the Islamic Emirate for pursuing this issue and bringing the usurped lands back under the control of the Islamic Emirate. Lands that were usurped during the Republic government, and we were witnessing that the Islamic Emirate is bringing the usurped lands back under the control of Islamic Emirate, and usurped lands belong to the government itself. We have special thanks to the Islamic Emirate.
Using government lands by powerful people was considered one of the major challenges of the previous government. After the Islamic Emirate retook power in the country, in addition to preventing land usurpation, this government has also taken steps to return usurped lands, which has so far made significant achievements in returning government lands from usurpers across the country.
The Ministry of Justice says that 19,300 acres of land in the Abibarda and Kotal areas of Chorat district, the capital of Oruzgan province, have been confirmed as Emirate land. According to the ministry, the file of this land has been sent to the Central Commission for Prevention of Land Usurpation for a final decision. Sheikh Maulana Islam Jar, Herat Governor, and Muhammad Murad Amanov, the General Director of the TOPI project, discussed the acceleration of the TOPI project. The Herat Provincial Press Office wrote on its X page that Mr. Amanov, in extending the gas pipeline in Afghanistan and progressing rapidly, and 3 kilometers of the pipeline have been extended so far. Meanwhile, the Herat governor assured all-round cooperation and providing the necessary facilities for the rapid development of this project. Maulavi Habibullah Masroor, the spokesman for the Saripul governor, says that based on the order of the Supreme Court, 51 prisoners have been pardoned and 39 prisoners have had their terms reduced. It's worth mentioning that the prisoners have been pardoned on their terms of prison have been reduced on different occasions in several provinces. And the final one is that Mullah Nuruddin Torabi, the director of the National Disaster Management Authority, met with Gaziz Akbasov, the ambassador of Kazakhstan to Kabul, and his delegation. During the meeting, Mr. Torabi called for the continuation and increase of Kazakhstan's humanitarian assistance, citing the critical need for assistance in Afghanistan. At the same time, the Kazakh ambassador to Kabul assured of continued assistance to Afghanistan and asked the National Disaster Management Authority to share the current needs of the people. And that's all for tonight. Stay with us to stay updated. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.
شهیدانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور دا د باتورانو کور ساتوي پسرو وینو دا د شهیدانو کور دا